I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, my homies, UFC 269, man. We're gonna break down another UFC card. Man, I'm excited now, but on Saturday night, guys, this is what I'm gonna be like on Saturday night. Hey, who remembers that guy, man, who went off to Bon Jovi at the basketball game? What a legend. I do want to thank the MMA gods for making this card possible. You know, UFC 269, man, this card looks amazing. But yeah, UFC 269, I'm going to have a lot of action on this card. I've already got a parlay finishing that started with Manel Kopp. So yeah, man, potentially a good start already on UFC 269. Hey, my homies, make sure you smash that like button, man. Alright, let's jump into it. Alright, my homies, I'm going to spark the blunt to start this breakdown purely because the zombie girl, you know, she's a zombie. She's a dog. And I heavily get down with that type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to spark the blunt for the zombie girl. Now, the opponent is Gillian Robertson, who is the Savage. You know, I kind of get down with Gillian's mentality too. You know, she's a really, really decent jiu-jitsu practitioner. If Gillian Robertson can take you to the mat, it's potentially a wrap every time. Maybe not every time. Maybe that's an overstatement. But what I'm trying to say is, Gillian Robertson, she's all about that jiu-jitsu life. Now, the zombie girl is all about the zombie life. You know, you could basically make this girl a walker in The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? You know, put her in the herd of zombies. You wouldn't be able to tell. You know, it's the same thing. She's a walker, bro. She's a zombie. She done some nice work against Gina Mazzani, basically displaying the same thing she's always displayed. I'm going to take your punches and I'm going to walk you down. Now, if Gillian Robertson can take the fight to the mat, take the fight to her world, more than likely she's going to submit this girl. But if the zombie can keep it in the zombie world, you know, she might crack Gillian Robertson. She might break her. I'm going to start with the zombie girl. I think if she can keep it standing, man, you know, she might break Gillian. So yeah, I'm going to use a little bit of faith on this prediction. Her takedown defense, you know, she needs to be drilling that takedown defense because we know that's what Gillian's coming with. You know, she's not looking to trade kicks and punches. She's looking to time you with a level change. And if the zombie girl can see that level change coming, stop the level change, keep it in her world, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's going to be my first prediction. I'll take the zombie girl. If I had to make numbers and be completely honest, I would give Gillian Robertson the slight advantage. I'd make her the slight favourite. But she's only a favourite if she takes the fight to the mat. If the fight's striking, you know she's not a favourite. The zombie girl's the favourite in a striking battle. Now the actual numbers. We've got the zombie girl plus 300. Oh my goodness. I mean, she's plus 300 on the mat. She's not plus 300 striking, bruh. I'll side with the zombie. You know, the Walking Dead extra. Let's go. Alright, we've got a fight between Randy Costa taking on Tony Kelly. Now, looking at Randy Costa, he's coming off a loss to Adrian Yanez, where he kind of got butchered in that second round. But to be honest, guys, I don't hold that against Randy Costa. You know, Adrian Yanez is a really decent prospect. And if you remember rightly, in round one, Randy Costa using that jab, you know, looking pretty good with it. Also, to think back to the head kick against Journey Newson, he set that head kick up with a beautiful 1-2. And that 1-2, you know, it wasn't even to hurt the opponent. It was all to set up that head kick. It was a beautiful moment for Randy Costa. You know, Tony Kelly hasn't looked too bad in the UFC. Overall, guys, I'm going to side with the Zohan Randy Costa. I think his boxing is going to be the difference. Also, guys, there's a bit of an age difference here. Tony Kelly 34 years old, Randy Costa 27. If I had to make numbers, I'd say Randy Costa around minus 220. And the actual numbers, we've got Randy Costa minus 200. So yeah, the bookies are like, yo, you know, 2-1 if you want to lay money on the boxer in this one. Tony Kelly is a pretty tough guy and he hasn't looked too bad in the UFC. But I just think Randy Costa's a better boxer. and that's most likely the result. It's a good fight though, you know, maybe Tony Kelly can go in there and prove me wrong. But yeah, good matchup. Alright, we've got a fight between Ryan Hall taking on Darrick Minner. Now this is a pretty decent matchup because both of these guys are really decent at jiu-jitsu. You know, you look at Darrick Minner's record, man, he's got a bunch of submissions, you know, guillotines, triangles, rear naked chokes. He's got all the submissions, right? But guys, there's levels to the jiu-jitsu game. Ryan Hall's octagon name is The Wizard, and that's because this guy really is a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
You know, ultimately what Ryan Hall's looking to do, he's looking to Imanari roll, grab a hold of your leg and basically change your career. He's a specialist at f***ing your legs up. You know, he's looking to mangle those knees, mangle the ankle, you know what I'm saying? I was watching Ryan Hall against Ilia Tapira, and man, he's so unorthodox in his movement. Everything he's doing with his movement is looking to set up the Imanari roll. He's not looking to trade punches. He's looking to either spin with the kick, and if he's not doing that, he's looking to basically time you with that roll. But yeah, when I look at this matchup, guys, ultimately, if you're Darrick Minner, you don't want to go to the mat. If you go to the mat with Ryan Hall, it might look good for a couple minutes, but Ryan Hall is so good at jiu-jitsu that one mistake, the fight's done. It's a wrap. Ultimately, if Darrick Minner's going to win this fight, he's got to just strike. And it's not like Ryan Hall is adding up a lot of points, you know. He's not ripping to the body. He's not trying to knock you out. There is no Muay Thai kicks to the body, kicks to the calf, you know. He's not looking to really hurt you from a striking standpoint. So yeah, I do believe this is a difficult prediction to make. I'm going to side with Darrick Minner. Not because I'm super confident. It's more of a fade on Ryan Hall, you know. Very strange fighter. He's a specialist though, you know what I'm saying? He's a specialist at legs up. But if he doesn't get onto one of those legs, it's probably going to be a few punches from Darrick Minner that wins the round. I'm not saying Ryan Hall can't submit Darrick Minner, because he definitely can. Darrick Minner also slows down a lot. But what type of wrestling has Ryan Hall got? You know, is he jumping onto a single leg? Is he using double legs? He's not, man. He's trying to Imanari roll. So yeah, weird matchup, and it's always interesting to see Ryan Hall fight. But I'm going to side with Darrick Minner. My numbers on this one though, I'm going to keep both these guys minus 110. And the actual numbers we've got Ryan Hall over minus 200. So the bookies are basically saying, look, we're going to give you Darrick Minner plus money. It might look good for a couple rounds, but at some point, the specialist is going to find that submission. Yeah, I think it's one of those ones, guys. If you're playing Ryan Hall, you don't go too big. If you're playing Darrick Minner, you know you've got the plus money. So again, you don't go too big. I'll side with Darrick Minner. Alright, we've got a matchup between Alex Perez taking on Matt Chanel. So yeah, the way I see this matchup going, the better boxer, in my opinion, Alex Perez. Alex Perez, man, this guy can box. You know, he's only lost to Joey Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo. When you look at what he done to Jose Torres, Mark De La Rosa, Espinoza, Formiga, you know, all of these performances, Alex Perez looking good. He's only lost to really high level competition. Now, is Matt Chanel that same caliber? I'm gonna say no. And that's not to fully discredit Matt Chanel. You know, this guy has some pretty good jiu-jitsu. He's pretty quick. But when I'm looking at the weaknesses of Matt, I think it's the power. You know, when he lands his punches, there's not really much of a result. But on the flip side, when Alex Perez lands his punches, you know, they're connecting flush, they're powerful. So ultimately, I think the visuals of Alex Perez landing his strikes compared to Matt, I think that's going to be the difference. You know, Matt hasn't really got a great chin. And if you crack him with a good one, you know, he's moving back. The visuals ain't going to look good. I think if Matt wants to win the fight, take it to the mat. Grapple. Try take the back. Because if we get that kickboxing fight that I think we're going to get, I'm siding with Alex Perez. So yeah, that's going to be my prediction on this one. My numbers, I'd put Perez around minus 250. And the actual numbers we've got Alex Perez minus 300, minus 330, minus 350. I mean, man, if he can tee off on Matt Chanel, You know, I think he's a very likely winner. When I think of the chances of Matt putting Alex down with a punch, you know, I can't really see that. The only way I see Matt Chanel winning is utilising the wrestling, utilising the jiu-jitsu. And I'm going to say that doesn't happen. You know, Deiveson Figueiredo was able to do that against Alex Perez. And to be honest, if Figueiredo kept it striking, he maybe would have beat Perez too. And that's because Deiveson Figueiredo can really crack ya. Can Matt Chanel really crack ya? I don't think so. So I'm going to side with Perez. Alright, we've got a matchup between Erin Blanchfield taking on Miranda Maverick. Man, I'm going to spark a blunt on this one, and I'll tell you why. Guys, there must be a winner, there must be a loser, but in reality, whoever loses this fight, it's okay, because both of these girls are prospects. You know, when you look at Erin Blanchfield in her UFC debut, you know, she looked like a killer, and that's her octagon name too, you know, it's cold-blooded. Hey, same with Miranda Maverick, man. If she loses this matchup, it's okay. She's going up the rankings. She's a prospect. Miranda Maverick has brilliant Muay Thai. She's maybe not as active as Erin Blanchfield, but her Muay Thai skills, you know, it's good enough. Now, Erin Blanchfield is primarily a jiu-jitsu practitioner, but if you look at her UFC debut, what Erin Blanchfield basically said to us was, hey, you can catch these hands too, fam. I'll put these hands on you.
Why did you throw me gloves? To catch these hands!
You know, I'm going to look to break your nose. Honestly, if I had to pick who the better puncher was, I'd probably say Erin Blanchfield. But if I'm looking at who's the better kicker, who's got more experience, who's maybe a little bit more composed, that's Miranda Maverick. You know, it's a difficult one, man, because if Erin Blanchfield gets a takedown, gets that top control, her jiu-jitsu is pretty nasty. And the ground and pound too, you know, her grappling, really decent. And that's not to say that Miranda Maverick can't grapple, you know, this girl's got some really decent grappling too. And that's why I'm saying that they're both prospects. There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser, but they're both going up the rankings. You know, we could potentially get a rematch in a few years' time. You know, maybe like a #1 contenders rematch. I'm going to side with Miranda Maverick. I'm not super confident, and that's because Erin Blanchfield looked like a killer in her UFC debut. But the reason why I'm going to side with Miranda Maverick, I just think she's got more experience. You know, looks a little bit more composed. Erin Blanchfield was able to tee off on Sarah Alpar. You know, it was complete obliteration. But Miranda Maverick's not going to be there to be teed off on. You know, her movement's pretty good. So yeah, ultimately, man, I think it's two really good prospects going to battle. And it sucks that someone has to lose. Kind of the same as Rafael Fiziev and Brad Riddell. Obviously, the fans ain't looking at this matchup in the same light, but it really is the same thing. You know, they're both prospects, and the loser really isn't the loser. They're going up the rankings. My prediction's going to be Miranda Maverick. I think the composure may be the result. Yeah, my numbers on this one, I'd put Miranda around -150. And the actual numbers you've got, Miranda Maverick -130, -140. So yeah, man, the betting odds, you know, completely fine. Erin Blanchfield should be an underdog, but nowhere near a big one. You know, +110, +120. That's going to get some action. And the reason why that's going to get some action, Erin Blanchfield, she's a prospect. Hey, it's a good fight. Don't lay too much money either side. Alright, my homies, we've got a matchup between Andre Muniz taking on Eryk Anders. Man, a difficult prediction to make, and the reason why it's a difficult one, if the fight hits the mat, it's Muniz all day. But if the fight doesn't hit the mat and we're in that kickboxing situation, Eryk Anders all day. You know, Eryk Anders isn't this super technical striker, but he is a better striker than Muniz. You know, on the flip side, Muniz, this guy's a super good jiu-jitsu player. You look at what he done to Jacare Souza. You know, snapped his arm. You know, horrible. Making grown men cry. You don't snap Jacare's arm, you know, but Andre Muniz did, you know, showing no mercy. Man, it's one of those matchups where if you bet on Muniz and the fight goes to the mat, you know, you're looking like a genius. If you bet on Eryk Anders and the fight stays striking, you're looking like a genius. For me personally, guys, I'm going to side with Eryk Anders, but again, you know, not a lot of confidence. And the reason why there's not a lot of confidence, man, because you know, you can be winning the rounds, but if the fight goes to the mat, that could be a wrap. And the flip side, I know I've said it already, but again, the flip side could be Andre Muniz does take it to the mat, but doesn't get a submission. And then when round 2 starts, you're expecting him to take it back to the mat again, but it doesn't go to the mat. And now he's losing the striking. So whatever way you bet, you know, the bet can be looking good and then boom, you know. I'm going to say Eryk Anders is the winner by keeping the fight kickboxing, not engaging with the grappling. And if he does engage with the grappling, you know, it needs to be against the fence. And Eryk Anders does kind of like to push you against the fence. You know, really it's a pick'em, guys. I'm going to side with Eryk Anders, not a lot of confidence. And the actual numbers, we've got Andre Muniz minus 140, Eryk Anders plus 120, plus 130. So the bookies have got it close, but they're saying, yo, if the fight goes to the mat, if Andre Muniz grapples Eryk, he's going to be the winner. It's a pick'em, man. You know, don't go too hard on this one. Alright, we've got a matchup between Bruno Silva taking on Jordan Wright. I'm going to spark up, guys, and to be honest, man, some of you guys should already know why I'm sparking up here. Now, have you made an educated guess on why I sparked up? Jordan Wright's octagon name, the Beverly Hills Ninja. Hey, listen, Jordan Wright's not the most skilled mixed martial artist, but when it comes to picking octagon names, you know what I'm saying? The Beverly Hills Ninja. It's that bad that it's actually good. You know? Something can be that bad that it's actually good. And that's what you've got here with Jordan Wright's octagon name. It's so bad that it's kind of good.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Man, that makes no sense. I'm going to blame that on the smoke, you know? So yeah, man, do we even need to break down Jordan Wright? You know, we just done it. The guy thinks he's a ninja. So if you're looking at evidence on how Jordan Wright thinks he's a ninja, you know, you look at that fight against Jamie Pickett. He's going to try to kick you in the head, knee you in the head. He's going to do ninja shit, you know what I'm saying?
We're throwing spinning shit now.
Now, Bruno Silva on the flip side, you know, this guy looks more traditional. He's not trying to be a ninja. He's not trying to do anything that Jordan Wright's trying to do. He's had 2 fights in the UFC and both of these fights are total obliteration. So yeah, man, I have to side with Bruno Silva. The reason why I'm going to side with Bruno, I think if Bruno Silva lands his best shot against Jordan Wright, he's going to set down Jordan Wright. Now, I want to be respectful to Jordan, man, because I think his head kicks are pretty lethal. If he lands his best head kick, he can put down Bruno Silva. But if it's not his best head kick, you know what I'm saying? If the ninja doesn't land his 100% best head kick, I don't know what Jordan Wright's got for Bruno Silva. He's got ninja stuff. What I'm saying, guys, I think Bruno Silva's going to set down Jordan Wright. I think he's more dangerous. And yeah, I have to make that prediction. Jordan Wright, you know, when he got hit clean by Buckley, he looked like a deer in headlights taking those shots. So yeah, I think that happens again. My numbers, man, gotta be a little bit harsh. I'll put Bruno Silva minus 300 on this one. And the bookies have Bruno Silva minus 350. Minus 400. Oh my goodness. So that's ultimately the bookies' way of saying, yo, Jordan Wright, I don't think you're going to win. So we're going to give all of these bettors plus 250, plus 300. And believe it or not, man, a lot of people are going to bet that. You know, they're going to sprinkle that. But yeah, I think Bruno Silva's going to obliterate the Beverly Hills Ninja. Alright, we've got Augusto Sakai taking on Tai Tuivasa. Hey guys, you already know I'm getting more baked on this one. You already know it. The reason why I got more baked on this one, Tai Tuivasa, you know, this guy will knock you out and then he'll do the shoey. You know what I'm saying? You know, with that type of party mentality, you can only respect it. And that's why you get more baked on this breakdown. Now, Tai Tuivasa, you know, he came into the UFC and he instantly got a lot of fans because he's a good talker, man, and the fighting style. It's a good style. And what I mean by his fighting style, he looks to throw down. You know, tough as nails, man. Tai Tuivasa, he wants a brawl. Now, he got a couple losses, you know, Sergey Spivak, Blagoy Ivanov, JDS. One of the best ways to beat Tai Tuivasa. Take him to the mat. Take this man to the mat. Because in all honesty, Tai Tuivasa kind of looked like a fish out of water on his back. You know what I'm saying? He looked like the fish that tried to evolve. You know, jumped out the water and is trying to grow the legs. But instead it's just flapping on the sand. You know what I'm saying? Alright, the opponent, Augusto Sakai. This guy's a pretty good Muay Thai practitioner. You know, the kicks, the knees, the punches. The striking of Augusto Sakai, kinda underrated in my opinion. You know, he was doing well against Alistair Overeem, but got a little bit tired. But yeah, man, this is a good matchup. I think both of these guys are really decent strikers, but I do believe one man is evolving more than the other man, and that's going to be Tai Tuivasa. You know, the low kicks against Stefan Struve and Harry Hunsucker. You know, even Greg Hardy hurt him, but Tai Tuivasa's so dangerous as a boxer that even when you've got him hurt, he can put you to sleep. And that's basically what I think is going to happen here. I think Tai Tuivasa's quicker. The low kicks are seriously damaging, and if Tai starts to land the boxing, you know, I think he might put down Augusto. So that's what I'm going to go with here. You know, would it be a smart game plan for Sakai to take down Tai? Absolutely. But I think he's probably going to strike. And that's what Tai Tuivasa wants, man. He wants to brawl and then do the shoey. If this fight's a kickboxing fight, I'd price Tai around -170. If Sakai takes him to the mat, then it's much closer than that. But I'll put Tai around -170. And the actual numbers we've got: Tai Tuivasa -110, Sakai -110. So the bookies are like, yo, play aside, bro. I don't mind. Man, I think the odds are pretty good on Tai. I'll probably play that one. I'm rooting for Tai. Probably going to bet on Tai too. Alright, my homies. We've got Pedro Munoz taking on Dominick Cruz. Man, let's just get more baked as we go on, guys. Let's just get more baked. Be sure to subscribe if you're hella high. And if you're not hella high, still subscribe, G. Let's go. Alright, I guess the reason why I sparked up on this one, Dominick Cruz. Guy is a legend. You know, we know about Dominick Cruz, man. The movement is super unorthodox. He's not fighting from any particular stance. He's constantly switching stances. You can't get a read on the movement. And when you think you're getting a read on the movement, you know, Dominick Cruz will pop you with a combo and then you realise quickly, man, this guy is difficult to get a read on. I think one of the best ways that you can get a read on Dominick Cruz, if you're able to slow the movement down with low kicks, then you might have a good time striking with Dominick Cruz. And if you guys remember, you know, Henry Cejudo went to that low kick. He tried to compromise the movement of Dominick Cruz. Now, Pedro Munoz is a really good calf kicker. You know, this is one of the best calf kickers in the UFC, in all honesty. If you're looking at the foundation of Pedro Munoz, you know, it's jiu-jitsu. But the reason why he's got like up the rankings, the reason why he's gone so far in the weight class, he's evolved the striking. The striking has evolved, but it's primarily the kicks. I'm not saying that Pedro Munoz can't box, you know, because the guy's pretty tough. He will bite down on the mouthpiece, try to land those punches. But if you're looking at the most annoying part of Pedro Munoz, at least from the opponent's perspective, the most annoying part of his stand-up game is the kicks. The body kicks and the low kicks. So Dominick Cruz is going to need to use that movement and try to basically show Pedro Munoz, look, you're not just going to keep kicking me. I'm going to be in and out, in and out. You're not going to get a beat on my movement. It is a really good matchup, and Pedro Munoz maybe would be smart to grapple, you know, mix up the fight, because he didn't really do that against Jose Aldo. You know, it kind of looked like an exhibition for Jose Aldo. It was almost like Pedro Munoz wanted to experience what it was like to be in a Muay Thai striking battle against a legend. Now, if he wants to experience the unorthodox movement of Dominick Cruz, you know, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle to figure out. And that's why I mentioned that it would probably be smart for him to take the fight to his world, which is going to be on the mat. This is a really, really good fight, guys. I'm going to side with Dominick Cruz to use that unorthodox movement and to basically just be a puzzle, you know, a difficult puzzle to figure out from a striking standpoint. My numbers on this one, guys, Difficult fight to price, but I'd put Dominic Cruz around -130. And the bookies have both of these guys -110. So again, man, the bookies like, yo, pick a side, bro. Pick a side, bro. I may play that one. Alright, my homies, we got a match up between Josh Emmett taking on Dan Ige. And we just get more baked as the card goes on, honestly. Kinda want to set a new personal record, man. You know, most high I've ever been on a breakdown. Gotta break those personal records, man. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we sparked up on this one. This is a really, really good matchup. Man, the one thing I like about Josh Emmett, he'll be losing a fight and then he'll just win the fight. You know? Josh Emmett was losing to Michael Johnson, but out of nowhere, boom. Josh Emmett, man, he can just change the complexion of a fight just like that. One overhand right lands and it changes. I do want to say though, it's been over a year and a half since we've seen Josh Emmett. And he's nearly 37 years old. Despite the age though, we know what Josh Emmett brings to the table. And it's the ability to change the fight at any given moment. Now on the flip side, Dan Ige, you know, this guy's a real tough worker. Dan Ige has made me a lot of money. You know, and as an underdog too. I did go against him in his last matchup against the Korean Zombie. But man, even in that fight, you know, he showed his heart. And what I mean by that is, he was outclassed by the Korean Zombie, but never gave up. You know, still trying to get takedowns, still trying to strike. And his conditioning looked good, you know. He kind of slowed down a little bit, but Dan Ige's not going to quit. This guy's never going to quit inside the octagon. And I think that's one thing that most fans appreciate with Dan Ige. You know, we know this guy works. He's really working in there. If you're looking at who's more likely to get a TKO stoppage, I think that's Josh Emmett. But if you're looking at who's gonna, you know, potentially grapple a lot, make the fight a really difficult fight, it's going to be Dan Ige. But man, on the flip side, Josh Emmett is so dangerous, man. He can knock you out. Man, I'm having trouble predicting this one, guys. Not a lot of confidence again, but I am still going to make a prediction. My prediction, guys, I'm going to side with Dan Ige. I think he's more active, and if he puts on a good pace and mixes it up, you know, takedowns, I think he could beat Josh Emmett. But guys, even if Dan Ige wins round 1, wins round 2, we know what Josh Emmett can do at any given moment. And that's why this fight is so sick. This card is so sick. My numbers on this one, I'm going to keep them real close. I'd put Dan Ige -130. And the actual numbers you've got, Dan Ige +170. My goodness. So the bookies are counting out Dan Ige again. Even though this guy has cashed as an underdog many times, again we get plus money. I'm not saying it's a lock, because Josh Emmett, you know, the guy can put you to sleep. But Dan Ige's a tough worker. And it will be difficult to put Dan to sleep. That shot's not just going to be there. You're going to have to try find the openings for that shot. It's a really top fight. Looking forward to that one.
Alright, my homies. You know what time it is, man. It's time for a smoke break. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey, I hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed, having a good day, having a good week, man. I'm going to have a lot of action on this card. To be honest, man, I'll probably bet every single fight on this card. But if you want to see how I line it up, which parlays that I put together, etc., there is only one way to do that, and that's to cop yourself a membership on my Patreon. Make sure you join my Discord too. Man, I've actually just been sent a message on Instagram by a subscriber. Bro, I need your help. I fought someone on the street and I'm getting assault charges. I'm gonna lose my job if I get a criminal record. You need to make this a smoke break. Hey, bro, don't be fighting people on the street, man. You're gonna lose your job. Don't be doing that, bro. What did you expect was gonna happen? Alright, so I guess that's the smoke break topic. Guys, don't fight people on the street. I know most of you guys ain't doing that, but yeah, man, if you want to fight someone, go to the gym. And if you want to fight that person on the street, you know, say to them, yo, look, let's go to the gym right now, because I don't want to get assault charges. Let's go to the gym and we'll catch these hands, bro. Hey, it's much better just getting high, man. Don't fight people on the street, bro. Don't do that. I hope you guys got your coffee too. You know, the coffee and the smoke combo. You cannot beat this combo. Alright, let's break down this main card. UFC 269, man. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, my homies. We've got a matchup between Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Julian Paiva. Guys, this is what I want to say for this breakdown. I think Sean O'Malley's going to inflict total obliteration on Julian Paiva.
Total obliteration of Adosa!
And what I mean by that is, if the fight's striking, I think Sean O'Malley wins 9 times out of 10. And that's not to say that Julian Paiva's a bad mixed martial artist. It's not to say that he can't strike. He can. But the problem with striking with Sean O'Malley, it's kind of similar to Dominic Cruz. He's not fighting from one particular stance. He's always switching stances. And when you've got a fighter that's constantly switching stances, constantly faking and feinting, it's difficult to strike with that. And some people might be confused by that because they don't see Sean O'Malley knocking guys out like Francis Ngannou. So you watch him and you think, you know, why is the guy respecting him so much? He doesn't hit that hard. Come on, you can beat this guy. But it's difficult to land your strikes when he's moving in such a different way to most fighters. And that's why Sean O'Malley's a prospect. That's why this guy could potentially be a champion. It's the movement, it's the faking and feinting. It's the ability to hit you with the left kick, the right kick, the left punch, the right punch, and it all looks technically brilliant. It's not super powerful, but it doesn't need to be. You know, his technique is brilliant, and everything else that goes with the technique, the speed, the movement like I'm talking about, all of it looks good for Sean O'Malley. You know, he's going to tee off on Julian Paiva. He's going to land the kicks. Now, the way that Julian Paiva can win the fight, you simply need to remain in the fight. So that means if you get beat up in round 1, alright, you're coming out round 2. Sean O'Malley's a little bit fatigued now. Just got to be in the fight. And I think Chris Martino basically proved that. Yes, Sean O'Malley completely obliterated him, but Chris Martino never left the fight. He never left the game. He remained in the game and he remained on Sean O'Malley. Now, remaining in the game and keeping the pressure, it's not going to win you the fight. You do need to bring the fight to Sean O'Malley when the fight slows down a little bit, when fatigue starts to set in. But even then it's going to be difficult because Sean O'Malley's still technically brilliant. So yeah, I think you need to make it a bit of a dogfight the way that Chris Martino tried to and the way that Marlon Vera did. You know, Marlon Vera was checking kicks like a dog. So that's what Julian Paiva needs to do. And if he doesn't do that, ultimately you do need to take the fight to the mat. And the reasons why you need to do these two things, or one of these two things, is because you're now taking Sean O'Malley out of a Sean O'Malley fight. A Sean O'Malley fight ideally looks like I'm going to do whatever I want on the feet and you're just going to be hypnotized. And it looks like that a lot of the time for Sean O'Malley. You know, he's a brilliant striker. So ultimately, that is going to be my prediction. I'm going to take Sean O'Malley most likely to get a TKO. I'm going to be a little bit harsh on Julian Paiva. I'm going to price Sean O'Malley around minus 400. And the actual numbers, you've got Sean O'Malley minus 300. So I'm even higher on Sean O'Malley than the bookie. And that's if it stays striking. If Julian Paiva can take it to the mat, but from a kickboxing point of view, Sean O'Malley, complete obliteration. Alright, we've got a matchup between Kai Kara France taking on Cody Garbrandt. The reason why I sparked up for this one, Kai Kara France, really good mixed martial artist. Cody Garbrandt, former champion, really good mixed martial artist. Cody Garbrandt is stepping down to 125. He's stepping down to the flyweight division. It's debatable on how he's going to look. You know, some people might say this is a really good move. Other people might say this is no bueno. This is no good. What we can say for Cody Garbrandt, this guy's a good boxer. The speed of the boxing is the highlight of his game. You look at his last fight against Rob Font. The one thing that I want to mention, man, Cody Garbrandt kind of got stuck in the mud in that fight. And even against Hassan Cell, kind of got stuck in the mud on that fight too. You know, before he lands that big right hand against Hassan Cell, he's pressed against the fence. Against Rob Font, he was kept against the fence. You know, he was beaten with the movement. Now, if you're stepping down to 125 and these guys are even quicker,
You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to control the movement. So if Kai Kara France is going to have him on the back foot, is going to dictate the dance, kind of see Kai Kara winning. You know, this is really going to tell us where Cody Garbrandt's at. If he loses this fight, you know, might get cut from the UFC, because that would be 5 losses in 6 fights, which is not UFC level. And it's kind of harsh to say though, because you look at the opposition that Cody's losing to, all of these guys are top fighters, but that's what the UFC is, man. It's all about top fighters. And to be honest, man, Kai Kara France is a top fighter. This guy has really quick hands. The boxing is decent. The grappling's good. You know, some people might disagree and say his grappling's not that good. Brandon Royval choked him out. Rogerio Bontorin took him to the mat and controlled him. But the positive to that is, you know, even though Rogerio Bontorin took the back and had that position, Kai Kara France, the submission defense was good. He survived. And as soon as he got out of that position, he punished Rogerio Bontorin. To be honest, I don't think Cody Garbrandt's even going to try to wrestle. So I don't think the grappling's going to matter too much, but it just goes to show how good Kai Kara France is. You know, Cody Garbrandt is stepping into Kai Kara's world at 125. Don't think it's going to go well. I'm going to side with Kai Kara France. Maybe a TKO, maybe a decision, but I'm quite confident that he's going to win this one. I'd price him around -200. And we've got Kai Kara France plus 150, plus 130. What is going on? Listen, I know Cody Garbrandt is a former champion. I know his boxing's really good. But man, they are underestimating Kai Kara France. At 125, you know, I'm not sure how Cody's going to look. I know how Kai Kara's going to look. He's going to look like the normal Kai. Aggressive, sharp, powerful. So yeah, that's got to be my prediction. Alright, we've got a matchup between Geoff Neal taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. Guys, I'm not going to spark up for this one, man, because I'm hella baked. I'm too baked. And some people may say to me, Lade, there's no such thing as too baked. And to that I would say amen, you know. There is no such thing as too baked. But when you're trying to break down the fights and you get too baked, man, it can be challenging. So I'm not going to spark up on this one. May have broke my personal record on this one though. And if you're breaking personal records, then that's an amen. Alright, I'm going to try and make this breakdown simple. I think Geoff Neal is a really good mixed martial artist. And Santiago Ponzinibbio has proven that he's a really good mixed martial artist. Here's the thing with Geoff Neal, man. You look at his last 2 matchups, kinda got outclassed. I knew he would get outclassed by Stephen Thompson, because who can keep up with that guy's movement? Not many, you know? Now against Neil Magny, man, kinda surprised with this one. Neil Magny just done a good job though at keeping a high output, you know, sticking a jab in Geoff Neal's face. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio is a decent striker that could cause problems for Geoff Neal. But stylistically, when I think of the fight stylistically, I think it's a good fight for Geoff Neal. Santiago Ponzinibbio plants his feet and he looks to trade with the opposition. And that's kind of what Geoff Neal wants you to do. Stephen Thompson utilises a lot of movement and uses that karate style of kicking. Santiago Ponzinibbio is nothing like that. Neil Magny is a really long fighter that kind of got a bit better at using the range, using the reach, and he stuck a lot of output in Geoff Neal's face. So ultimately, man, I think these two guys are gonna engage, and I think someone's gonna get hurt. Whether it's Geoff Neal or Santiago Ponzinibbio, I do believe someone's gonna get hurt in this fight. My prediction, guys, I'm gonna take Geoff Neal to break the losing streak. I think he beats Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago has KO power, so does Geoff Neal. I just think Hands of Steel is going to be the victor in this one. My numbers, you got to keep them close. I'd put Geoff Neal -130. And both of these guys are -110. So yeah, that line really reflects the matchup that you've got. Both of these guys have knockout power. Who's going to connect first? Santiago Ponzinibbio went down like a ton of bricks against Jingliang Li. You haven't really seen Geoff Neal get hurt like that. So if you're looking at who's got a better chin, who's more willing to take a shot, I think that's probably going to be Geoff Neal. You know, it's a good matchup, man. Both of these guys -110. Ponzinibbio does have the experience advantage too, which could play into this fight. But again, I think the final result for me is going to be styles make fights. and stylistically, Ponzinibbio plants his feet and he's looking to trade. And Jeff Neal wants you to do that. So yeah, I'm going to side with Jeff Neal on this one. Alright man, we've got Amanda Nunes taking on Juliana Pena. I'm really baked, man. I shouldn't spark up because it's making the breakdowns difficult, kinda. But you've got her because it's the GOAT. Most people listening to this breakdown, you don't even need a breakdown on this fight. But this breakdown is going to be for anyone that for some reason you don't know who Amanda Nunes is, or this is like the first UFC card you've ever seen. This breakdown is strictly for those people. And by the way, bro, if you're new to UFC, hit the subscribe button, bro. Go ahead. Alright, so this is my breakdown. Amanda Nunes is going to completely obliterate Juliana Pena. Total obliteration. And just enjoy that, you know. Tune into this fight and enjoy that. But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be obliteration. If you want me to be more descriptive, I'd say the boxing completely breaks Juliana Pena. Amanda Nunes is different level. Many levels above Juliana Pena. If there's any way that Juliana Pena is going to win the fight, maybe wrestling, but she's not a better wrestler than Amanda Nunes. Can she get a Hail Mary knockout? I mean, anything can happen. Anyone can pull off a Hail Mary, but I definitely don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen, total obliteration. Round 1, round 2. I'd be very surprised if the fight was able to reach round 4. If the fight reaches round 4, you know, Pena has had the fight of her life. But I think inside the first 10 minutes, Nunes via whatever she wants. So yeah, my numbers on this one, I'd put Nunes around minus 800. And I'm not capping on that, you know, it really is a mismatch. And Pena shouldn't even be in there with her. And the actual numbers, you've got Nunes minus 700, minus 8, minus 9. You know, how can you disagree? How does Pena win this fight? She doesn't win this fight. And still, the GOAT. Alright, we've got Charles Oliveira, aka Charlie Olives, taking on Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Man, this is a good title fight. It's a good title fight for Dustin Poirier because, man, when you look at hard workers in the sport, there's not a guy that works harder than Dustin Poirier. You know, go take a look at Dustin Poirier's record. Look at the guys Dustin has fought. Eddie Alvarez twice, Anthony Pettis, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Khabib, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor 3 times, Bobby Green, Diego Ferreira. You know, Dustin Poirier has fought everyone. And now he's getting the second opportunity to become the lightweight champion. Now, the first opportunity, let's be honest, there wasn't much of a chance against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, he has got a grappler here in Charles Oliveira, but not a wrestler. This is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Arguably the best jiu-jitsu practitioner. No, sorry. Without a doubt, the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the UFC. Charlie Oliveira has the most submissions in the UFC. I don't care who you are, right? You should not grapple with Charlie Oliveira. And yes, we see like Paul Felder get that ground and pound stoppage. And I took Paul Felder in that fight. And that feels like forever ago. You know, since that fight, look at what Charlie Olives has done. Guillotined Clay Guida, rear naked choke Christos Giagos, rear naked choke Jim Miller, anaconda choke David Tamer, guillotine choke against Kevin Lee. He completely nullified Tony Ferguson, completely obliterated Michael Chandler. You know, so many of these matchups I took Charlie Olives. You know, I took him against Ferguson, against Kevin Lee. I'm a huge believer in Charlie Oliveira, man. This guy's brilliant. His striking has got so much better too. If you look at his striking now compared to like 5 years ago, massive difference. And that's because he's not scared of being taken down. You know, he can just walk you down and just let his hands go, let the teeps go to the body. Now, if you're looking at that fight against Michael Chandler, you know, in round 1, Charlie Olives was close to being finished. He was close. And Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, is a better boxer than Michael Chandler. So yeah, I do kind of see Dustin Poirier dictating the striking. You know, if we're in a striking battle, I think Dustin Poirier, man, he's proven it against the very best. You know, we've listed off many fighters: Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje. If this fight is kept kickboxing, I believe Dustin Poirier, without a doubt, will break Charlie Oliveira. Now, if Charlie Oliveira can take the back of Dustin Poirier, take it to the mat, it's his fight to win. And some people may even say, look, Charlie Olives might be able to rock Dustin Poirier and then jump onto a submission. And to that I would say, you know, it's not impossible, but I think Dustin Poirier has one of the best chins in mixed martial arts. You know, taking shots off of Dan Hooker, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, we've named them. You know, he's taking those shots. Does Charlie Oliveira hit harder than any of those guys? No. So despite Charlie Oliveira improving his striking fight by fight, I still don't think it's enough to compete with Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is by far the better puncher. And if he's able to keep punching with Charlie Oliveira, he's probably going to hurt him. So that has to be my prediction. I'm going to take Dustin Poirier to become the new lightweight champion. Most likely a TKO inside the first 10 minutes. Another bet that you could potentially hit on this fight, I don't think this fight is going to go the distance. So yeah, even if I'm wrong with my prediction, I think if Oliveira does win, it's going to be a stoppage. Because that's pretty much how Charlie Oliveira wins all of these fights. The only time he didn't get a finish was against Tony Ferguson. And we know with Tony Ferguson, it's kind of impossible to finish that guy. Even if you get a submission, he's not going to tap. So yeah, Tony Ferguson, you know, kind of cheats. If you get the win, he's still not going to say you win. You have to wait until the timer runs out. But Dustin Poirier is a little bit more sane. You know, he will tap. If you break his arm, he's going to tap. But that's not going to be my prediction. I'm going to say that Dustin Poirier is the first man to beat Charlie Oliveira since Paul Felder. I'm going to say that Dustin Poirier becomes the new lightweight champion. My odds on this one, I'd price Dustin Poirier, I'd put him around -150. And we've got Dustin Poirier -160, -170. Yeah, it's not completely disrespectful, but I think some money will come in on Charlie Oliveira. +130, +140. Yeah, money's going to come in on that. As always, my homies, leave down your underdogs, who you're taking in the main event, the co-main event, all of that good stuff. And without a doubt, man, I set a personal record on getting the most baked ever on an episode. Hey guys, remember, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes, stay high. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.